Yay, that looks good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my first Life at 5 that I have planned for this week, every day at 5 p.m. And yeah, welcome back for some of you into my kitchen, my Jenny Thermo-Crazy kitchen to be precise. And yeah, so what I've thought about is that by now you all know how to follow guided recipes using the on-screen instructions, but potentially you have not really embraced all the accessories that come with it to its fullest. So with my little series, the Life at 5, I want to close this gap. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give the humble simmering basket a platform because it really deserves it. So this is the simmering basket for the TM6. We can tell because that one has a lid that is attached to it, and that lid also is not detachable, so that stays on. The TM5 simmering basket has exactly the same size, looks almost the same, but it doesn't have a lid. Both of them do have a maximum filling line. It says it here inside for to the max. Basically, you can fill your simmering basket all the way to the top. With the TM6, or always make sure that the lid closes completely. Most of you will have used the simmering basket so far for cooking rice. When we're cooking rice, we just need to be mindful that we follow the recipe instructions, because what will happen, obviously the rice will swell up, and what we don't want to happen with anything that we put into our simmering basket and cook in it, we don't want it to block the hole from the inside. So with the rice, they recommend a maximum filling of 350 grams if you weigh in the rice. And but yeah, so for the eggs, for example, you can boil your eggs in the simmering basket, or steam vegetables in there if you have small amounts that you don't want to use the aroma. Then the simmering basket is your friend. So now I want to show you, I need to come here a little bit closer, how we're putting the simmering basket inside of our bowl. So I'm showing it with the TM6 one. And basically what I always do when I put my simmering basket in, I follow the handle and look that the opening goes in the same line. So this way my simmering basket sits in there, all right, and basically that line just extends with the opening here. The reason for that is because, you know, once you have cooked your ingredients in here, you want to take them out again. But obviously, if that's a hot bowl, you can't use your fingers. So that's when our spatula that came with your Thermomix comes in handy. You see that little hook here at the back, and that basically goes together with the simmering basket. This one has a little hole here at this end. So what you want to do is, if you want to, I'll probably show it better that way. If you want to get the simmering basket out, you're going to use the back side of your spatula. You go in there straight and hook up your simmering basket. This way you can take it out, and you just push it a little bit forward to release. All right. If you want to, or if you have something in there and you want to drain it first, you can also just hook up the simmering basket and use the little edges here from your simmering basket to pop it on the side of your bowl, and use the spatula as an extension. So you create an angle here, and you can let the liquid from the simmering basket drop back into the bowl. Okay, then emptying the simmering basket with the lid, I recommend that you open up the simmering basket, the lid first. Again, using your spatula, you open up the lid first, and then again do the same exercise. go in there with the backside of your spatula and hook it up. It's easier if there's something in it. And then you can take it out and empty the simmering basket without that lid flapping open and to avoid splatter. All right, so I think that's that. Obviously, all our attachments are dishwasher safe, including the simmering basket. So what I usually do is this one goes in the top drawer, I open the lid, and then I just stuck it in there. Okay. Another cool trick I want to show you, what the simmering basket. So that was the obvious, okay? So I think that was nothing new so far. But what I want to show you now is when you, for example, cooking brown rice, still can't see me. Here we go. If you're cooking brown rice, you know that takes a little bit longer than normal rice to cook. So we recommend, or I recommend, that you soak your brown rice first. Minimum an hour, best is a couple of hours, or if you are good with the planning, then do it the night before. So now with the simmering basket, I want to show you. So first of all, you would weigh in, now I need to come back here. So you put the simmering basket in, you weigh in the amount of brown rice that you want, for example, the 350 grams, and take it out again. Then you can wash your rice in the sink, and then use one of the thermal servers and place your simmering basket in there and fill it up with water, and then you can soak it there overnight using the lid so nothing goes in there whilst it is soaking, and it's safe to use. And all you need to do then when you're ready to cook, take it out, let it drain, and pop it back into the Thermomix bowl. The same but also works with the TM6 simmering basket, same size, and still the lid closes. I also use the soaking method, for example, for soaking my almonds before I make almond milk, and just it gets nicer results. So you can soak them in here in your thermal server. So that is the 2.6 litre thermal server. That's one of our host rewards. You can't buy them in the shops. I'm sorry, you have to get in touch with your consultant, ask them about the host reward to get your hands on one of those. All right, so that was the soaking. Now, I want to show you something else. So speaking of the almond milk, so any nut milks or cheeses for that matter, sometimes it says, well, then strain the ingredients through either a nut milk bag or any other cloth straining that you can use. So like a nut milk cloth. So you would put that into the simmering basket, then pour the nut milk that you just made into here with the second bowl, obviously, and then you can so put that in here. That was wrong. Have your bowl where you have your nut milk. Pour that straight in here and catch the pulp in your nut milk bag. But then you can just easily let it sit there and drain for a little bit. You can also pop the lid back on top so nothing crawls in there, and let it set. So, for example, your ricotta cheese or anything else basically that you want to strain. Okay, so the other way, so obviously if you travel with your Thermomix these days, still summer holidays for a little bit longer, and you're limited with space in your caravan or motorhome, then you do have 2 strainers coming in your Thermomix set. So no need to have an extra attachment carrying along with you. The little one, the simmering basket, absolutely, it can be used as a strainer. Put your ingredients in here and then just wash them, and obviously it will strain through. But there's also another way of straining. For example, we use that when we're making butter. And for the butter, we just whip the cream and we whip it until the milk solids and the milk liquids are separated. But then we want to strain the buttermilk, and this way is it doing it the other way around. So in this case, imagine here's the butter and the butter solids and the buttermilk. Then we pop the simmering basket in here, and with the aid of the spatula we just hold the simmering basket inside, and then we can pour the buttermilk out. Catch that one? We need that later for pancakes or for baking. And then we take it out again, and then we can give our butter solids a quick wash, strain them again, and then your butter is ready to use. All right, so that's the normal way of doing it, but there's also a reverse way of doing it. For example, also when you do making lemonade or the like. Okay, then sometimes in your guided recipes, you know, as per default, there's always the measuring cup that should sit inside of your mixing bowl lid. But sometimes when we reduce sauces or when we're making jam, when we just want more liquid to evaporate without having, well, to clean up the kitchen afterwards, let's say, that's then when sometimes the machine asks to put the simmering basket instead of the measuring in on top of the lid. And as you can see, it fits perfectly in there, and it releases the steam, but it keeps the splatter inside. So it also works like a splash guard. Benefit here is obviously that if you should need to add more ingredients during the cooking time, you can always take it off, insert something, and pop it back on. Okay. Yeah, so that's for your sauces, for your jams, making ketchup, tomato sauce, and whatnot. Okay, and yeah, so a couple more things before I finish. When I always use also my simmering basket to help when I mill spices or spice mixes. You might have, if you tried that before, you might have had the experience that the bowl is just, especially if you have only small amounts of spices that you want to mill, that it takes either a long time or you have to repeat that a couple of times. So my tip here is when you have the spices in here and you want to mill them, just add the simmering basket inside before you start the milling process. What happens is then the simmering basket basically avoids that the spices go around in the whole bowl. You limit basically the milling space almost by half. So that way the spices stay closer to the blades and the milling results are just a little bit finer. Okay. And then you can use your simmering basket also to melt chocolate, for example, and or to sous vide, use sous vide cooking. And that's why also the simmering basket for the TM6 has a lid, because you know when we do sous vide cooking that we're using small plastic bags, preferably under vacuum, and if you do sous vide cooking, they will swim in the water. For the melting the chocolate, they don't have to be in the water. But if they swim in the water, so what could happen if there is still air inside the little bags, they could come up to the surface, and that could potentially block the hole from your lid from the inside. And that's what we want to avoid by all means. So that's why the simmering basket in the TM6 has got this lid, and that is an extra protection, so nothing can obstruct the mixing bowl lid hole basically from the inside. Okay, that's the reason why. So I have made a YouTube video about spice milling, and a little bit of recap of what I've been through with you here today. If you would like to check that out, there's also further instructions about how to melt chocolate using your simmering basket in there. And yeah, so find my YouTube channel, but I can also put the link, I'll post the link underneath this live video, so you can always refer back to that with a little bit more details about the ins and outs about that. And finally, before I love you and leave you, I want to point out that your Thermomix came with a basic cookbook. This is a great resource for basics like this. And especially in the first couple of chapters, that's also where you find more details and yeah, let's say a beginner's guide to all the different attachments that came with it. And then in the back of the basic cookbook, straight after the hot chocolate, it starts with a resource guide. And here you find the basics about not only grating and milling, but also for steaming. There's a whole chapter about steaming functions. So let's say you don't want to follow a recipe, you just want to steam a little bit of vegetables. Then you can look up the vegetable and you can choose the amount, and then the book will suggest the cooking time and the setting and which part to use. And depending on the size or the volume of the food, it will say use the simmering basket or use the Varoma for that steaming. Okay, so in case you haven't checked that out yet, this is a great book where a lot of tips and tricks that I'm sharing are already in here at your fingertips. And I know the instruction manual is sometimes a bit neglected, or yeah, I know when we do our delivery briefings, we basically cover all the information that are in there. But I can always, I want to encourage you, if you're uncertain and you can't reach your consultant immediately, this is always also a great resource to come back for the basics. All right, so that's all I have today for the Simmering Basket. Thanks so much for joining me for my first Life at 5 this week. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. And tomorrow we're going to talk about the Varoma. And I hope I can share a couple of aha effects there with you as well. And that you're going to fall in love with your Varoma. All right, bye for now. See you tomorrow.